Good evening and welcome to Delight and Fright. We have a very special guest with us today, author Clay Vermulm, and he's going to talk with us today about his new work, Crevasse, and his work that he co-wrote, Rain Shadows, Dark Tales from the Washington State, with Tamara K. Salmon. So we're so excited to have you with us to talk about your new works and anything else you might have coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm excited to be here. Did you want me to just dive right into things or right into introduction or?
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about the new one. Is it you said it was what was the name of it?
Rain Shadows is my newest, and Crevasse is it was originally the first novella I wrote. So I wrote it back in 2022. Got reprinted with a small press in Washington called Dark Forest. And it's the first of a three series. So there will be three novellas in that series still with Dark Forest. And that's a rock climbing horror novella. So you're into like adventure and horror, like some supernatural element, and if you like some like classic mountaineering and rock climbing type stories, I think lots would for you. It's kind of a mixture of those two things. And Rain Shadows, there's a whole long story to that, but the shortest version I can give is it was a project that I pitched Tamara. I met Tamara a few years ago in a critique group. She's been writing for like 34 years and working in the publishing industry. So she's always been kind of to me and somebody who's provided a lot of guidance in my journey. I pitched this idea to her that we should critique something live on the air because I think a lot of new authors have trouble getting past like the early stages of the writing process. Finishing your rough draft, showing it to somebody, sharing it with the world, getting some honest feedback, and then taking the story from there and then really improving on. So yeah, we did this project called Beneath the Rain Show, which was a podcast where one of us would pitch the other a prompt, and then whoever got the prompt would go write that story, and then we alternate, and we did that every month for years. So we each wrote stories. There's total in the collection. They're all based on a different Washington location, a different horror trope. So it's a lot of fun. We have a mix of things that all hopefully encompass like Washington State vibes and the horror that's kind of out here. So that's the short version of what those two books are all about.
Interesting. Thank you so much for sharing that. What kind of got you started in writing? Was it just did you pick it up in school, or how did you become interested in writing?
Yeah, probably like a lot of people. I've always I grew up on kind of a small farm out in the middle of nowhere in Montana, and so I was always kind of making up stories and playing imaginary games with her. We did a lot of sword fighting with sticks from the backyard, playing fantasy games all the time, and I've always think I've been a storyteller. My mom's also a very avid horror reader, and we're a big movie family, so we've watched movies together and kind of analyzed stories. And I think that's always been one of my primary methods of processing things, dealing with anything going on in my mind, in my life. And I also just have a ton of fun writing horror. I just love monsters. I love folklore. And I love exploring human condition through the lens of supernatural and paranormal elements, because I think in a lot of ways that makes it easy to approach topics that are really hard to look at just take on. We have enough of that every day in the world. So I kind of liking a speculative element to it, adding some allegory, some metaphor, and playing with it and exploring it for myself with a monster attached to it, something to have fun with as well, if that makes any sense. That's kind of why I've slanted, I guess, is also part of that. But I've always been a writer. I started doing it seriously about 5 years ago, around COVID time, like a lot of people. I lost my my day job. I've been cooking for like a decade. I've been in the indie filming, just doing that on the side. And COVID was kind of a chance to really try it. I've I've kind of been scraping it all there ever since then, doing random freelance writing jobs and things like that to support the fiction. It's a lot of fun, and I'm really happy to be where I am now.
That's awesome. So I saw you had a podcast, have a podcast, Sinister Soup podcast. I was checking out the logo. I definitely love the Cthulhu noodle soup. We're definitely fans of Cthulhu here. We have our own way of saying goodbye with Cthulhu love. We do a little tentacle action there. Yeah, yeah. There you go. Yay! So, tell us a little bit about your process. Like, do you set aside a certain amount of time to write, or do you just wait till things come to you? How do you make sure that you keep yourself within means, being your own boss, sort of?
Yeah, that's a question, and it's really to do because it's really hard to try to like, at least for me, routinize creativity or to try to bottle it up and put it where I want it in my schedule. It's always been spent for me to make it work that way. But at the same time, you have deadlines and you get things done. So you also have to kind of learn to push through, and you're not necessarily like inspired or hearing the muse, so to speak. Um, but that's one reason Rain Shadows came up fast too, and why it worked so well. We cut the book out in about a year, all told, and the writing jumps has become something that's really helpful for me. Just like two or three things that are pretty wide open, but give me just enough of like lane to kind of end because I do like write from my pants, like plot things out or plan way ahead, build a ton of world in the background before I start. I usually kind of do more of a reverse outline. So I like to follow kind of the Stephen King on writing method of just you know, put two characters in a room and put them in a give them a problem to solve and then see where it goes. That doesn't work for a lot of people. It's for me. I kind of like to have fun and be really free form with my first draft, and I do a pretty extensive. I have a big 3-pane whiteboard with notes and markers, like little connective thingies. I do all that crap at the end on my big whiteboard. But I like to.
Nice. So you got a big wall of weird and look like you're hunting down a serial killer with nice. I dig it.
They're hunting one down or being a serial killer. It's hard to tell, but I do promise all fictional. It's all speculative. Yeah, that's kind of just like the vomited out kind of. I don't know about you. You two, I assume you two write as well. I don't know for sure, but I love getting in that flow state of writing where your story kind of starts to write itself. Your characters kind of to say things that you didn't expect them to say. That weird drama that happens, the favorite part of the process. So I kind of strive for that every time I'm writing on my rough draft. And then after that, I put a little more bumpers up, and I start to have a story structure and all those kind of things. I have to do it
Nice.
backwards like that.
Yeah, I do write. Just wish I had more time to with the full-time job. But you
Yeah.
mentioned reverse outline, which was interesting to me. Does that mean you figure out your ending and then you kind of work your way back as to how you got there?
Mm-hmm. A lot of the time. I'm also a big subscriber. I don't know if y'all have ever read Write Public Heat by Johnny B. True and Sean Platt. But it's a good book from 2012, 2014, something like that. Those guys have written a ton of books, and they're really cool indie authors to check out if you've never heard of them. Fun. Um, but they really subscribe to sort of adding on to that rise of your pants thing, but also trying to write fast and never go backward on your first draft. So I also really like that practice. I try to never back. If I hit a scene that's not really working for me, I will just put in brackets, write fight scene later, and then move on to my the spooky stuff because favorite stuff to write, or my like dialogue. I like writing dialogue. Um, so I try to go through the draft as fast as I can and try to never look back and kind of let the story take me. It does usually involve me getting to an ending. That's not usually the ending I keep all the way like I read it the first time, of course. Yeah, then I have like sort of all the pieces and I can move them around, shift them around. I often have to combine characters, cut characters, move entire chapters, things like that. But I sort of restructure around that framework once I spit it out onto the page.
Do you have an editor that does that for you, or do you do it yourself?
I definitely have lots of help. I have a great writing community. I have a couple people who I will exchange beta reads with. Again, like Tamara has been a critique partner years. I also take Thomas's advanced creative writing workshop. It's a really good. It's basically a critique group, but we also study with the best collections of the year, and that's always a cool exercise to read it in there. Comes from all these magazines all over, and so that's a big process as well. Just getting lots of peer review. I have beta readers, and then at Dark Forest I have 2 editors. So one who helps me with has given me a really big developmental edit. It's like a 20 page write up on everything I should consider fitting. And then my other editor does all the copy and line editing, so the more semantic stuff. But yeah, when it comes to actually getting in there and writing and moving everything, I do all the dirty work, I suppose.
And I saw that Crevar says voices from the Cold Book 1. So you already have, how many books are you planning on doing with that?
3.
Nice.
So yeah, that's a rock horror trilogy. They're all going to be novella length, just under novel. And the premise there is it's an adventure horror novel, but what I really wanted to explore was grief largely, and how that could come out of adventure. So my goal with the book is to kind of explore the of people left behind after the adventure, because we always watch the adventure, and we always watch people that go on the big quests and conquer the great or whatever and face the monsters, but we don't always hear the story of say their parents at home, and like how difficult that struggle is, and how difficult those are, and how much that grief kind of comes home and lives with you and can tear you up as well. So that's kind of the element I'm going for with this supernatural horror. Is grief gets closer to home in each of the 3 books, and what happens from there. But I've got to almost finished right now. I'm turning it in at the end of the month, and then haven't quite picked a release date. We're not sure if we want to release in winter yet, but we were talking about that.
Ooh, a Halloween release would be kind of interesting.
It would, but don't tell my editor that. I don't want to have to be done by Halloween.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I did a really extensive rewrite on this last one. I had to cut an entire character, who was a point of view, and kind of divvy up those point of views to my other point of views. It makes this a story way better and more succinct, faster pace. But it was extensive, so now I'm going to need a lot of copy edits and things like that. It's going to take longer than I expected.
And if you're working with grief, is grief going to perhaps represent some sort of monster, kind of like Stephen King, Gerald's Game kind of situation? Nice.
Yeah, so I would maybe if you're going Stephen King, it might be a little closer to the creature from like The Outsider. But using grief, as sort of that calling out to you from those you've lost, and stark reminders and temptations to answers when maybe the answers are not going to be what you would have liked to find.
Isn't that the way things tend to turn out sometimes?
Oftentimes, for sure, especially with traumatic familial events and things like that.
But I saw that you have an actual publisher. That's a big thing these days. Now everybody's self-publishing or, direct to order. Is it
Hmm.
still direct to order through your publisher, like, or do they print a certain amount for you?
Yeah, they're still a real small indie publisher. So they are the process is relatively similar to them probably as it would be for me if I was doing the self-publishing. I did self-publish me and Camera together an imprint called Beneath the Rain Shadow. Under we're gonna public Rain Shadow collections. So like I've done that part too. I would say Forest probably does is a relatively similar process. You Ingram Spark, you go to draft to digital, you go wide, and then if you want to, you do the Amazon exclusive for 6 months. That usually kind of pays off. You didn't do that with Crevasse; it's a reprint already. So with the second one, maybe we will, but my editor doesn't love Amazon, so we'll probably just go right away. And then, yeah, I mean, print on demand honestly is kind of a godsend for you if you're a smaller author with a smaller name like I am, very much lower mid tier if I'm mid tier at all. So selling those books, a lot of it is word of mouth, a lot of it is my imps and events. I do pretty good at that kind of stuff, but I'm still not, getting put on display in Barnes and Nobles across the country or anything. So it's nice to have print demand, and Ingram Spark facilitates reprint returns and stuff. So if you are an indie author or a smaller press author, it can be helpful just to make sure you're on Ingram Spark, because then you can still get libraries and bookstores. They'll be able to return your stuff. And please tell me to shut up, just rambling or stuff that everybody already knows.
Oh no, it's good to hear our guests' feedback, information, or it's a good time for you to use this platform to be able to open about your work, what you've been through. We all go through very different things in life, so it's very good to know your perspective because that will be very different from other authors or other creators in general. So no, it's good. It's good.
Okay.
So what got you into horror to begin with when you were young as a child? What kind of why particularly horror?
Yeah, I've asked that a lot, and I really still don't have a great answer. It just always had been something I thought was cool, to be completely honest. I've always liked the dark. Always, wanted to go see what was out on the reach of the firelight. Always want to see what was moving in the bushes and what those is glowing out of the dark were. Um, did grow up in a spooky place with lots of folklore out in the middle of Montana. And I've spent some nights when you're really far out, like even where you can't like the lights of Cutbank or anything. There's literally no light, and you turn all your machinery and you walk back to the truck in the pit black. That's a spooky time, and it puts things in perspective. It's kind of like the total perspective for it from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, but you really realize how big you absolutely aren't when you like stand in the vast darkness of like the Montana prairie. You find yourself in the ocean out beyond on the sight of land, or in the mountains in Washington State, where crevasse and rain shadows take place. There's a lot of stuff out there that can really sink into your bones, and I just love that feeling. I don't know why. I've always liked being creeped out. I've always liked monsters. I've always liked folklore, fairy tales, especially the darker ones, mythology. And I stole my mom's copy of Pet Sematary when I was like 9 years old. So that was like the first horror book I had, and I mean I was totally hooked on Stephen King from there. So
Nice. Yeah, I remember checking out Stephen King at the high school library, or it may have even been middle school, and I was like, I can't believe they're letting me read this. Like, this is great. My mom would be like, come watch TV with the family. I'm like, no, this is way juicier. Trust me.
absolutely.
So, seen any aliens or any weird
Mm.
situations being in the middle of nowhere? They tend to like to hang around there when they see like one dude in a field, and they're like, hey,
Yes,
what's that dude doing?
aliens. No, all
Suspect.
kinds of things. Aliens, poltergeists, ghosts, any of that stuff in the middle of nowhere. That's the best place.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people who claim to have seen things. Um, but I cannot make such a claim. I'm more of a Scully in that situation. I want to believe, but unfortunately, I just haven't seen the evidence yet. I do believe in my heart and my soul, and when somebody tells me that they've seen something, I am willing to believe them. But I can't be a full believer until alien pulls me up in the and I've put myself out there. Like you guys are saying, I've everything I can. So even in if they haven't taken me yet, they must just not be interested, and that's
You're wearing a shirt that says "Abduct me" next.
what I gotta do. But I'll put it on a shirt and see if that helps next season.
They were like, "No, we got plenty of white dudes. No, we're good. We don't need to
Yeah.
take him. He's
Yeah.
cool."
For us, yeah, good move though.
We have plenty samples of that species. Now we need new species.
Absolutely, get some include in these abductions. Come on.
So I read
agree.
that you like rock climbing. Is that something you've always been into, or did you started doing it for exercise, or you like the risk? Did you like climbing with no ropes? Are you one of those crazies?
No, I like to I use ropes for sure. I mean, I've done some bouldering, where you climb like rocks. You don't go as high, but then you usually use crash pads instead of ropes. But no, I haven't done any free soloing or anything. Most people don't. That's a pretty rare need. I have been passed by a free soloer before though, because they go really fast with no gear and stuff. You'd really terrifying. I don't know how people do that. I am definitely still scared of heights, still scared of falling. But there's something about rock climbing very meditative, very focusing. Kind of it's one of those sports. Favorite sport is surfing for the same reason. But the things that just get you, and writing does this, at least for me it does, where it just gets your brain so locked into the task that kind of the rest of the world melts away. If you climb for a little while, like it's always scary at first, and once you get a little ways on deck and you start to trust your gear better and you just start to get in a rhythm, like the rest of the world falls away, and all there is like the air and the wind and the rock and the sun and whatever else is going on around. And I even enjoy managing the gear. Like there's a fun routine to it, but there's a tying knots, building anchors, and pulling up your partner, and just having a cool adventure. That's what I love about it. So I don't climb super hard stuff. I like long, high, easy stuff. I just like adventure. So yeah.
And so it's like a meditation. You concentrate on your breath. You hear your heartbeat. You try to stay calm when you have a difficult situation to kind of deal with. And I like that you face your fears head on. That's definitely what I try to do as well. I was terrified of speaking in public in front of anybody, so I just started signing myself up for like plays and things like that. And sure, I sucked at first, but I didn't fall and hurt myself. I didn't vomit. I didn't freeze up. So it just got easier and easier. And but still, if I was to completely stop, I would revert back to that, because I'm an introvert at heart. So I kind of force myself to go out and experience the world, because if not, I'll just get into my little bubble and in my little cave and I'll be happy.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a big proponent of pushing yourself, seeing what you can accomplish. That's important in the writing world or any artistic pursuit at all, because especially these days with the level of oversaturation of the market, like you really have to be out there and doing the work if you stand out in any way. Congratulations! It looks like you've pretty well at conquering your fear, having a podcast and everything, going live. Good job, dude.
Yeah, the trick is, like you say, you don't go back to read your writing. I don't go back to listen to myself. Like, no, it's done. It's done. That's it. Like, if I had to edit or anything, I'd be like, no, I can't do this.
Yeah, it isn't going nice. I same thing because I used to edit all the time. I used to edit ums and ahs and everything. Because I have a couple podcasts. Fermented Fiction is my debate game show podcast where we have people on to debate things. Just roll 2d2ds. If you roll high, you have to defend. If you roll low, you have to attack. No matter what you think, it's a lot of fun. But used to edit that one, and now we just go live, and it's 1,000 times better. I don't have to listen to myself anymore, and the best.
Yeah, it's stress free, and we can definitely be ourselves and just speak a free mind, and you don't have to go back and edit anything, or oh, I said something and maybe later I'll regret it. You just kind of free. You just free bird.
Yeah, we haven't really gotten any crazy trolls yet. But I feel when we do, I'll be like, we've made it. We have trolls now.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for my trolls as well. They'll come.
They're under bridges and stuff, being trolls.
Absolutely. They're out there, that's for sure.
So what is some of your favorite board games? I read that you like to play board games.
Yeah, I love that question. I love Wingspan. That's a board game I play almost. Well, not almost. I think I literally play a game every day. I don't know if y'all have heard of Board Game Arena, but it's a fantastic service. It's 99 cents a month, and you get access to like hundreds and hundreds of board games. And if only one person needs out for all your friends to play, you can sign up for free. You just can't host games if you have an account. But you can join games, and yeah, hundreds of them. So my wife and I play a lot of board games on there, and we also have an entire like wardrobe cabinet of board games. Some of my top favorites. I really like Terraforming Mars. That's a really fun, big engine building game, kind of like Think Catan, but a couple levels up. And then I really like Wingspan, which is a game where you build your own aviary. It's really fun because you actually learn a lot about birds. Like I can identify a whole bunch of birds now that I didn't used to be able to.
Nice.
And I tell you, powers are in Wingspan, which is substantially less useful or real. But real to me because I play it every day. I like Stone Age, a great game. What else do I like? I mean, I play some trading card games like Magic the Gathering, and I like Kana. Is the new Disney version of Magic. It's actually really fun.
Those Lorcana cards have become the Pokemon cards. It's so hard to find them, and there's so many scalpers. You're gonna pay at least $500 for a whole box of them. Like it's Lorcana right now is ridiculous. The market for it is ridiculous. So I found a booster pack the other day for like $20, and I thought that was a steal. So
yeah, they've gotten expensive because it hasn't been around for very long. They're only on their like their 4th, 5th generation, I think.
Yeah.
But it's really fun. You're a trading card game person. This is just for you, and if not, I'm sorry. The like with Magic, this problem is the mana system. Like you can not have enough mana and things, and that happens a lot in mana in Magic. And they've done away with that in Lorca. So that's my part of it compared to Magic and why I have to play it. And if you're prone to nostalgia, it has all your favorite Disney characters. So if you're into that, you have fun building a Mulan deck, a Jafar deck, or whatever suits your fancy.
Yeah, I definitely need to check out the service you're talking about because Fireball Island almost broke me and my husband. Like he had to have all the extra ones. He's like, "Oh my god, it's back!" I'm like, "What? What's back? I've never heard of this." And sure enough, playing it is hilarious. It's a lot of fun. So
nice.
I think you played it with us, Luna, haven't you?
Yeah. It was me and a group of other people. We played Fireball Island, and I thought it was so fun and. Lots of freaking lava trying to kill us. It was great. Always gotta love the lava.
And then you can think you're almost to the chopper, and then nope. The fireball gets you.
It's a great one.
that sounds like a fun one. It makes me just because it's had Island in it too, but it reminded me of another really fun one is called Spirit Island. That one's really cool because premise of it is like the ancient gods of this island, and you're actually trying to prevent the island from being colonized. So like the enemies are the people, and you as an ancient deity, depending on which deity you are, using different methods try to like get people to leave.
So you're an avatar and they've come to take your stuff and you're like, no, get away.
Yeah, exactly. And there is like locals, the indigenous population is like on the team of the gods too. So it's a good really good game, but it's extremely hard. I have like never even beat it on like medium. It's really hard.
Oh wow.
Wow.
But fun.
That
It's
sounds like the Alien one we play, and like we've never won. We've never even gotten close. It's like, no,
Yeah.
Alien, damn it! Everywhere you go, Alien, damn it!
Yeah.
So what do you have in place for the future, Clay? Anything you're working on in the future? Any conventions you're gonna be at?
So I do lots of stuff in the CSC area, and I'll be doing a little stuff in Montana even this year. So Rain Shadows comes out in July 19th. And our release party for that is August 10th, which is a Sunday. That'll be at the Two Finger Social, which is in West Seattle. So if you have to be in the area, that'll start around 7:30. You should come check it out and hang out with us. We're gonna have cool stuff. We'll have a tarot reader there. We'll have my friend Lucio who's going to do an interview with us, and then he's a really good too. He's been and has a werewolf series. If you like werewolf books, I definitely recommend checking out.
I love the lichens. I'm all about the lichens.
Yeah, you should check out the Hidebound trilogy from Luciano Moreau, Raventail Publishing, I think. Don't quote me on the public. I think it's Raven thing, but I'm not sure. But it is Hidebound, and it's Luciano Moreau. But he's a great writer. He's been published in Nightmare and a bunch of other places, and he used to be a journalist for a long time. He's going to facilitate an interview, and then he has a fun gimmick that he'll do at conventions and stuff. It's his old typewriter, and you can come up to him and give him like I don't know what he charges, but you pay him and he murders you. So he writes a little like 1 to 2 page flash story where he kills you or kills your wife or whoever you want him to kill. He'll kill anybody. He doesn't care.
Kill everyone.
Yeah.
I'm having a bad day.
Exactly. So you can get murdered by Luciano. You can have your tarot read. You can listen to some readings from Emra and I. And then at the end, we even have a special treat. I was an actor for a while, and we're gonna show the small indie short films that I was actually in one time, which is a horror movie where I get murdered. So yeah, if you want to come and murder yourself, see me get murdered, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, murder.
Yeah, murder. I'll be at Con, which is in Seattle this year. For anyone who doesn't know, that's without the Hugo Awards thing. So yeah, I'll be there. You guys know Sadie Hartman by chance? Their horror on Instagram. No. She's awesome. She has a thing called Night Works. It's a subscription package for horror. So like you sign up for it, and they send you some goodies and stuff. Great, awesome service. But she's at other horror on Instagram. She's a really big champion of the horror genre. She does recommendations, monthly and daily recommendations, and she's just like read everything that's done in the horror genre. And she won the Bram Stoker Award last year for best nonfiction. For 101 horror books to read before you're murdered. It was a really good nonfiction collection of book reviews, essentially, and essays on her favorite 101 horror books. But her new one is Feral and Hysterical, and it's the same concept, but it's all for women writers and horror. So she has a whole book of essays and recommendations on horror books from women that she believes everybody should read. So I get to interview for that at World, and that's going to be really exciting. And then I'm gonna starting in November, late October, be doing a book tour for Shadows. So be hitting some bookstores all the way up the I-5 corridor from Bellingham to Portland. Hopefully, I haven't locked Portland, but confident we will lock something. And then I'm gonna probably do a little mini Montana. Go to my old college town, go to my old hometown, and then a couple other towns where I have a lot of friends and stuff. Because I've never actually done a book tour yet, but I sell a lot of books there. My uncle owned a furniture store, and I actually sell my books there. It's like my best bookstore. The local hometown crowd can go along for you.
I love it.
Kept secret.
Yeah, exactly.
And I know it's every author's dream to like be in a bookstore, but we were talking with some other authors, and it's like, when was the last time you went to a bookstore and bought a book? You buy everything online. You buy stuff through Amazon. You have it mailed to you. Like, I know it's just that it's just that rite of passage to have your book in the bookstore to look at and be like, oh, that's me, haha, But that's may not be where you're gonna make your money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, your bookstore sales these days are never going to be like your bread and butter. At least for like a smaller indie author like me, my brother is totally like in-person events. I'm part of a group called Authors Event Now here in Washington. It's a group that essentially we have a couple leaders of the group who kind of apply to all the festivals and all the street fairs, big like things like that, and then we sell from the ones that we want and push it on the tables, so it makes it a lot more affordable and easier to like make profit. You go sell with your fellow authors, and I do good at that kind of stuff, more than bookstores. But if you get lucky and find an awesome bookstore that will buy the books outright from you, that can be a pretty sweet deal. A couple of those just that have been good partnerships. I'm the program coordinator, the Seattle HWA. So I'm lucky, fortunate, a lot of good bookstores and stuff now that we've built over the years. But that's a lot. If you have a bookstore that will hook you up with a good deal, it's still super beneficial, I think. But like you say, printing a warehouse full of books and thinking to sell them all in all these bookstores isn't always going to work for you. Especially horror sell, just in general.
Mm-hmm. And actually, I go to a lot of events at a bookstore in my area. It's called the Book Exchange. And what they do is they'll have an author come talk about the book, autograph it. I love to support that. If it's on a day that I will have to work and it's a book I'm interested in, I'm like, I'm there. I love to support other authors and see their process. And it's been such a pleasure talking with you, Clay. Are you going to be in Florida anytime soon? We have a Necronomicon coming up.
Oh man, I wish. If I ever get invited to Florida to be in a convention or something, I would certainly make the trip. One of my favorite authors to work with and reads, Ray Wilds. She's from Florida, but she's writes some awesome sapphic horror that's super brutal and witty and sharp. Have you ever read Ray?
No.
I definitely recommend her. I'm just about done with this book. I Can Fix it, and I want to shout it out because it's terrible in all the best ways. Terrible as in just super brutal and toxic and nasty. That's how Ray does like it. She's such good prose. It's super clean. Highly recommend. I Can Fix Her by Ray Wild Knowles. If you're into like sapphic, toxic relationship, murder stuff.
I might get a little PTSD, but but I love the authors that you're reading it and you're like, they're not going to go there. They're like, you're going there in your own mind because you're sick and twisted. It's just who you are. You can't help it. And then the author goes there and beyond, and you're like, yes, I'm not alone.
Absolutely, and this book will definitely make you do that. So, if that's your vibe, I would recommend it for sure.
Like a psychological. Yeah,
it is. Yeah, very psychological. The premise just to finish a shout out, the premise of it was Ray believes in both the soulmate, and then she believes other concept that we all have an anti-soulmate, like a person that we're all destined to meet who's going to completely wreck our life for a little while, if not for a longer period of time. And anybody who's met that person, which I see Kat nodding, I've met that person for sure. So Luna, good for you. I know. I hope that necessarily.
All of my exes pretty much feel that way to me. So I don't know which one is the real culprit in that department.
I love that belief, because me and my husband were the belief to really appreciate each other. We have had to gone through all the anti-soulmates to realize how good we have it. You know, I don't think we would have appreciated it if right out of high school we would have just been together the entire time.
For sure. Got to meet your anti-soulmate to really appreciate your soulmate. I feel that all the way down deep in the heart. And I'm lucky to have now. But yeah, we've been there, and that's iFixer is not about being a soulmate. It is about finding an anti-soulmate. It's delicious. So check it out. But yeah, that's kind of the thing I have going on right now. Just that book tour, and the second Voices book will be released when it's finished. It was originally going to be December, but not optimistic, guys. To be completely honest, so we'll see.
Well, thank you so much for speaking with us this evening, Clay. Do you have anything else that you want to add before we end the show? Anything you'd like to mention?
No, thank you so much for having me. If you want to follow me, I'm at Clay Vermulm Fiction on Instagram. That's where I'm most active, and then you can join my newsletter on Substack if you want my writing stuff and my podcast stuff right to your inbox. That's where I'm pretty much at. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a fantastic evening, everybody. Be safe tomorrow.
I want to do some plugging for our subscription drive.
Yeah.
Yes. So in this box, there is a clothing item, a Blu-ray, probably a book of some sort, a toy, and an autographed item from a franchise celebrity that you guys will know. So subscribe, and we will add you to the drawing that we're going to do August, right? The first show in August, Luna?
Yes, first show of August.
Okay. And if you have your subscriptions, your stuff set on private, we get it. We don't blame you. Keep it on private. But just leave a message or something so that we know that you subscribed. We like what's in the box, and the answer is Gwyneth Paltrow's head. But we like to we like to be silly. So next week we're trying to work with two lovely ladies working on a short that they wrote, directed, and produced called Beyond the Midnight. And it's Beyond the Moonlight, my bad. And it's with werewolves, lady werewolves.
Okay.
You know how we love werewolves, and we love the ladies here too. So hopefully we'll have those lovely ladies with us, and we'll be able to give you more delightfully frightening things.
Yes. See you guys next week for another fantastic filled show. We have a lot of stuff brewing for you guys, and subscribe. It's free. Leave a comment. We'll get you entered to the drawing, and whoever wins. So see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
Hello, boils and ghouls. It's your old pal, John Kusier, the voice of the Crypt Keeper. And I want to thank you for listening to Delight and Fright with your hosts, Luna and Kat, a podcast for outcasts.